So the next topic in our lecture will be on the concept of page replacement. So again, coming back to our concept of demand paging. In demand paging, let's say if a process has 10 pages, if only 5 of the pages are going to be used and 90% of the time the remaining 5 pages are not going to be used, then in that case, that remaining 5 pages are never going to be brought from the disk to the memory. The remaining 5 pages are going to be there on the disk only most of the time. Only if it is required for execution, it's going to be brought into memory. So in that case, what happens is for a process which has 10 pages, but only 5 pages are going to be loaded into memory, in that situation, there is going to be more space in the computer's memory. So what the OS will do is, it will try to increase the degree of multi-programming. Increasing the degree of multi-programming is nothing but increasing the number of processes in the computer's primary memory. So when you try to increase the number of processes, in the place where we are supposed to have only 5 processes, the OS will try to load 10 processes, assuming that more space is there in the primary memory, and it can utilize that space, increase the degree of multi-programming, so that CPU utilization is increased. But then at one point of time, what happens is, at one extreme point of time, if we increase the degree of multi-programming, we will actually end up in over-allocating the memory. Over-allocating the memory means memory is loaded with too many processes in such a way that finally it will end up in a situation where there are no free frames available even to complete the execution of the currently present processes in the computer's memory. Also, another thing which you have to remember is, memory is required not only for storing the pages of a process, memory is also required for storing the input-output buffers. It's also required for the operating system. So, the memory management algorithm has to efficiently take care of all these things and allocate memory for all this. So, consider this situation where due to demand paging, if we increase the degree of multi-programming is nothing but number of processes currently in the primary memory at any point of time. So if we increase the degree of multi-programming just to increase the CPU utilization, this shows what is the situation which will actually result. See here, this is the logical memory for some process 1. This is the logical memory for process 2. In process 1, it has pages H, load M, and J. H, load M, and J are there in frames 3, 4, and 5. In process 2, what are all the pages there? We have the pages A, D, and E. This A is there in frame number 6, D is there in frame number 2, and E is there in frame number 7. So in the previous lecture, I told you that if a page is there in memory, its valid invalid bit will be set to V. So here correspondingly, so consider page H. Page H is there in frame 3. So the frame number for page H is 3 and its valid invalid bit is set to V. The frame number for load M instruction is 4. And so here for page number 1, the frame number is 4 and its valid invalid bit is set to V. But consider page M. Page M is there on the disk. It is not there in memory. So for page M, the page number is 3. So for page number 3 in the page table, there is no frame number because it is not there in the memory and its valid invalid bit is set to I. Now the question here is, consider process 2. For process 2 also, there is for page number 1, there is a page called B, and this page B resides in the disk. Now if process 2 wants to bring this page B from the disk to the memory for execution, see the position of the memory. Due to over allocating the memory, there is no free frames available. There are no free frames available to bring this, even if I want to load this page from B onto the primary memory. So this situation happened because of over allocation of memory. Due to demand paging, we thought that more free space is available, and we over allocated the processes to the memory, and so now there are no free frames available even for executing the currently available processes in the memory. So this situation is called over allocation of memory, this situation leads to no availability of no free frames. Okay, due to this situation only, we need to do this concept of page replacement. Now, in this situation, what are all the solutions available to us? If we examine what are all the solutions available, we want to bring some page from the disk to memory. Already other pages of the process is there in memory. So if you bring this page from the disk to memory, that process can complete its execution. But then we are not able to bring it because there is no single free frame available in memory. So in that case, what are all the options we have is, one thing is we can terminate one of the user process. But then if we terminate, it is going to decrease your system utilization. And it's also going to waste the resources which has been already allocated to the process. So that's not a good idea. The second option is we can swap out one of the processes. So swapping out will decrease the level of multi-programming. The level multi-programming means keeping more processes in the computer's memory and increasing CPU utilization. So if we do swapping out, then it's going to decrease multi-programming. So this option is also not preferable for certain situations. So the third most common solution which is being done is the concept of page replacement. So let's learn about what is the meaning of page replacement. So what is basic page replacement algorithm is, whenever we want to load a page of a particular process, first the OS will check whether the particular process is there on the disk. It finds the location of the desired page on the disk. That is the first step. Second step is it tries to find a free frame in the memory for loading this page, desired page onto memory. If there is a frame, it will allocate it to that page. If there is no free frame, then it selects a victim frame. What do I mean by victim frame? There is no free frame. I have to free one frame in the memory. All the memory frames are filled up with pages. So I have to free one frame, or I have to free one page. So how to do it? So that frame which is, I will select one frame for replacement. So that frame is called victim frame. This victim frame is nothing but I will select based on the frame which is currently not being used, will be selected as the victim frame. The frame or the page which is currently not being used by the process will be selected as the victim frame. And then you also have a term called dirty bit or modify bit. I'll come to that later. So once we select the victim frame, what we will do, we will write the contents of the page on the victim frame to the disk. Once we write the contents of the page on the victim frame to the disk, we change its page table to invalid, because now the page is not in memory. It's going to be swapped onto disk. Once we swap it onto the disk, then we bring the, so that can be easily understood by using this diagram. See here, there is one page on the disk. This is the page which I want to load back into the memory. I don't have any free frame in the physical memory. So then my second step would be to find a victim frame. I find one victim frame from the physical memory. Victim frame is nothing but whichever page is currently not used by the process, that becomes victim page and the victim frame. And the frame in which the victim page is present becomes the victim frame. So the next step would be write the contents of the victim page on the disk. Okay, some contents would have been modified in the page. So whatever contents has been modified, that modified contents will be written, and then the page will be swapped onto the disk. That is the next step. Also, the page table of this victim frame will be changed to invalid. That will be the next step, because if it is going to be transferred to disk, it's no longer in memory, so its valid invalid bit has to be set to I. So next step is bring the desired page and load it into the victim frame. So once you bring the desired page into the victim frame, now I have to change the page table for this victim frame. So what we do, next step would be to change the page table. In the page table, the valid invalid bit for this newly loaded page will be set to valid, and its frame number will be this frame number. This frame number will be loaded as the new frame number of the newly loaded page. So this is what happens, and this is the concept of basic page replacement. Page replacement has to happen because we don't have any free frame in memory, and when we don't have any free frame, we select one victim frame. That is nothing but the page which is not currently being used by the process will be selected as a victim frame. We swap that page in. First we swap out the victim page process. First we swap out the page in the victim frame, and then we swap the desired page into the memory, and then we change the page table. That is the basic concept of page replacement. Now, one thing which you have to notice, even whenever there is no free frame available, whenever we get into the problem of no free frame available in the physical memory, 2 page transfers are required. That is, once we have to swap out the victim page, next we have to swap in the desired page. So one swap out and one swap in operation. 2 page transfers are required whenever we need one free frame for allocating to a page. And that leads to a lot of overhead. Okay, whenever, since you need 2 page transfers even for allocating a frame to a page, so that adds to a lot of overhead. And in order to avoid that overhead, we use a bit called as the modify bit or the dirty bit. So this modify or the dirty bit will be maintained by the hardware for each page or frame. If this modify bit is set, it means the page has been modified from ever since it has been moved from the disk to the memory. In all the time it was residing in the memory, if the page was modified, then the modify bit will be set. In all the time it was residing in the memory, if the page has not been modified, modify bit will not be set. If the modify bit is set, then while swapping out, the contents will be returned to the disk. If the modify bit has not been set, only swapping out will be done, that writing the contents of the page to the disk will not be done. So that is the use of modify or dirty bit. This will help us to avoid unnecessary write operations. If the page has not been modified ever since the time it has been brought from the disk into memory, I mean the page in the victim frame. If that page has not been modified, no need to write the contents of the victim page onto the disk, just to swap out the page. So that decision is made with the help of the modify or the dirty bit. So while talking about demand paging, two major problems which exist is we have to design a frame allocation algorithm and we have to design a page replacement algorithm. The aim of this frame allocation algorithm is, if we have many processes in the computer's memory, how many frames to allocate to each process. If we don't have a free frame in the memory, then which frame to replace. These decisions will be made by the frame allocation algorithm. The second, page replacement algorithm, what it will do, just now we saw about page replacement, we have to select a victim frame. So how to select the victim frame? What is the criteria we are going to use to select the victim frame? That will be decided based on the type of page replacement algorithm we will be using. Also, one main aim of our page replacement algorithm will be lowest page fault rate. Already I have told you in the previous lectures, page fault is nothing but when CPU tries to access a page and if the page is not in primary memory, then it results in something called as page fault. And this page replacement algorithm should be selected in such a way that page fault rate should be low. Okay, so I told you that after this, we will be solving problems on page replacement. So, and this is a topic where you will be getting problems for solving in the examination. So for that, we will be using something called as reference string. In all our problems or in your program also while coding, the input will be a reference string. So you need to know what is the meaning of this reference string. So I told you what is page replacement algorithm. Page replacement algorithm is nothing but an algorithm which will decide which page or frame will be replaced. Which page currently residing in memory has to be swapped out into the disk. That will be decided by the page replacement algorithm. So to evaluate our page replacement algorithm, we need a string of memory references, right? So memory references means it will look like this. So accessing a page is nothing but accessing a particular instruction address in the computer's memory. Accessing a particular physical address in the computer's primary memory is called page reference, right? So the actual memory references are going to look like this. It's going to be a sequence of memory address references. So how to get this, to evaluate our page replacement algorithm, we need to have a sequence of memory address references, which we can get from any real-time system. We can get this from a real-time system with a sequence of addresses from a sequence of process executions. But then our resultant, if we use this memory address references directly in our algorithm, our data set is going to be too huge and too large because of the length of your memory addresses. So, and another way to get this memory addresses is we can use a random number generator, or we can get it real time from computer process execution in the computer system. So this is what is going to be, has to be the input to our page replacement algorithm. But we are not going to use our input to our problems like this. Our input to our problems is going to be reference strings like this. What is the meaning of this reference string is, instead of using memory addresses, we are going to use their page numbers. Okay, we know that a page is a collection of instructions, and all these memory references indicate the addresses of those instructions present within the page. So our actual input to the page replacement algorithm is this set of memory references, but then we are going to use page numbers instead of memory address references in order to avoid large data set as input to our algorithm. I will also tell you what is the meaning of this reference string. So assume that, so here the address 0, 100 refers to, assume that it refers to page number 1. Okay, so we are making two assumptions here. We are going to, for the memory address references, we are not going to use the entire address. We are going to use only the page number in order to avoid a large data set. The second thing is, whenever we refer to a particular instruction in a particular page and we bring that page into memory, subsequently, if any other instruction in the page is referenced, it is not going to generate a page fault. Recall what is the meaning of page fault. Page fault is nothing but we try to access a page and that page is not in memory is called page fault. You try to access one particular page, and if that page is not in memory, you bring that page into memory. And then subsequently, if that any other instruction in the page is accessed, it's not going to result in page fault because we have brought that page into memory and it is still in memory. Okay, these two things which you have to remember while executing your page replacement problems and algorithm. Now here, let's say 0, 100, the memory address refers to page number 1. Okay, then 0432 refers to and memory address in page number 4. Okay, here we will mention the page number, shift from one page number to another page number only if there is a move from one page to another page. Here 0, 100 means we are referring to, we are trying to access an instruction address 0, 100 in page number 1. And then here the CPU is trying to access an instruction at a different memory address. So 0432 cannot be in the same page. So here, let's assume that it belongs to page number 4. Okay, here there is a shift in referring page numbers. First we referred page number 1 and then we referred page number 4. Okay, that's why it's mentioned in the reference string. And then again, CPU is trying to access instruction at the memory address 0101. So that's why again, if 0100 is there in page number 1, the next subsequent address 0101 will also be in page number 1. So again, the same page number is used here. Then some other different memory address is referenced 0612. So we assume that it belongs to some page number 6. Then again, we are referring to 0102, 0103, 0104, 0101. 0100 belongs to page number 1. That means 0102, 3, 4, 1 all will belong to page number 1 only. So again, the reference is to page number 1 only. Note that we have a series of instruction address references, but only one page number is given here because all these addresses will be there in page number 1 only. There is no there is no shift in the referencing of pages. Okay, that's why only one is given here. Even though it is trying to access 1, 2, 3, 4 memory address references, only one page number is given here because they all belong to the same page only. There is no shift in referring the page numbers. And then after 0101, we are trying to access 0611. That means this address is not there in page number 1. It belongs to page number 6. So after 1, 6 comes. Then after 0611, we have 0102, 0103, 0104, 0101. All belong to page number 1 only. So after 6, 1 comes. Okay, after that we have 0610. Now this belongs to page number 6. So after 1, 6 comes. Then after this we have 0102, 103, 104, 101. Now they all belong to, if 0100 belongs to page number 1, then this also will belong to page number 1 only, and they are all consequent memory addresses. So we have only one memory reference here, which is page number 1. And then we have 0609, this corresponds to page number 6. And then we have 0102 and 0105, this corresponds to page number 1. Okay, whenever instruction address belonging to the same page is referenced, then there is no, that is not mentioned in the reference string. But whenever instruction addresses belonging to different page is a reference, that will be mentioned in the reference string. It's because based on the assumption that all consequent memory addresses will be there in the same page. Okay, so we are going in our page replacement algorithm problems, we will be using reference strings like this. This is the meaning of that reference string. This reference strings denotes page numbers, and each page number means that an instruction within that page is being referenced by the operating system. And in all our page replacement problems, we should also be given the number of frames available. Otherwise, we cannot calculate the number of page faults. So number of frames is also will be affecting the number of page faults. For example, in this reference string, if we have 3 page frames, then we can store the pages 1, 4, and 6. Probability of page fault is very less. But if you have only 1 page frame, then every time when a new page is accessed, let's say after page 1, page 4 has to be loaded, then I have to swap out page 1 and I have to load the 4 into that 1 frame which I have. So it's going to result in a lot of page faults. So the number of page frames greatly influences the number of page faults. So in all your page replacement algorithm problems, you'll be given a reference string as well as the number of frames, and you have to calculate the number of page faults which will be generated. So this graph shows the proportion between number of page faults and the number of frames. Obviously, as I told you, when the number of frames is less, the number of page faults is going to be large. So it's somewhere between 14 and 16 here. When the number of frames is gradually increased, the number of page faults gradually decreased. That's because we have the space in the memory to store all the required pages. So there will be no page fault. Page fault will occur when the page which we are searching for is not there in the computer's memory. So when we increase the number of the final concept behind this story is when we increase the number of page faults, when we increase the number of frames, the number of page faults is going to decrease. And if we have less number of frames, we are going to have more number of page faults. So that is all about the concepts for today's lecture.